Fun Spot Atlanta shocked the roller coaster world when they announced a ground-up, completely steel roller coaster that would be added to their Atlanta theme park. The roller coaster would cost $13 million, and with additional infrastructure, the total investment would be $18 million at the theme park. Would such a huge addition really make sense for such a small amusement park in the middle of Fayetteville, Georgia? Once you ride, you really don't care about the logistics of it all, because this is a world-class thrill ride that is unlike anything else from RMC. The out-and-back style layout is a bit different for this manufacturer. Instead of a twisting layout, the L-shaped course of Fun Spot Atlanta's RMC means that there's a bunch of straight sections to deal with, something unusual for this American-based manufacturer. This is a ride where you can really break it down by each element. So starting with pulling right out of the station, you have some nice speed. You can actually feel yourself already coming out of the seat on these two little humps, more so than other pre-lift sections. You block check on the lift hill each time there's a two-train operation, which is a bit odd in just your average RMC stuff. The ride then starts out with a steep drop. For a 146-foot drop, it does feel good, but there's nothing really stand out about it. After this, the ride really starts to deliver with every element. A fun fake out to the right before you take a dive to the left. No hang time here, just a bunch of solid negative G's on the entry into this dive loop, and then back into the positive G's immediately. At the bottom, there's a solid bunny hop that follows with just the right hint of laterals as you're thrown out of your seat to the right. The stall is one of these standout elements of the coaster and really what you focus on as you drive into the park. Right around 0 G's throughout the length of this huge element before you twist back upright and into the next element full of airtime again. Maximum airtime and minimal laterals, that's pretty much what this ride is about. The double up into a large down surprised me during this next element. You really feel the pull of the train here in the back, and the way down lasts much longer than you expect. This is a big hill, and it's right before the highlight of the ride for me, the turnaround over and past this Western-themed building. This is one section where you'll feel some lateral G-force, and then an off-axis hill keeps the craziness going before you hit the largest moment of sustained positive forces on this layout. If you're gonna gray out on this roller coaster, this is where it might happen. But it's not for long because the Heartline roll before you make your way back towards the station has you hitting that 0 G mark again, and then comes the insane ending. I'm really not a fan of these 6 airtime moments as you head back towards the station. With the restraints hitting pretty hard, this is one section that I dare say is just a bit too much.
The ending is crazy.
It's extreme airtime spikes, and I'm sure that means some people will absolutely love it, but for me, the ride loses its excellence once you exit that final Heartline roll. You're consistently launched up and down out of the train, and this would be an instance where less is more would have been a good idea. I mean, I'd just take 2 big hills to finish off this ride nicely, instead of this insane 5 downhill moment. And then a slam into the brake run, completing the ride. It's a pretty harsh ending, but I know that just some people will absolutely love the ending of this thing. Technically, this is a really good ride, and it's all steel, so it should age quite well. It uses the space perfectly, and the RMC trains are slowly growing on me after every ride, although they're still nowhere close to perfect. The layout from above is very pleasing, and overall, this is very good. The ride is exciting. There's a ton of adrenaline. It's got good intensity, and dare I say, too intense at the end. Arie Force One is well paced, and even though it has that element-to-element syndrome, it actually works here until the final quarter of the ride, where it's just too bonkers. There was an attempt at theming here, which was nice to see. It's not the worst, and there's a bunch of places to view the ride from off-ride, which is nice, and the colors look pretty great in person. Still pretty below average, though. The ride is unique, and it does feel like an RMC, but it is very different from any other RMC. The out and back style layout, it really works well for them. a really nice score for me as I rate quite harshly. It falls in my top 3 to 4% of roller coasters, somewhere around the top 25 for me out of the 840 or so rides that I've been on. Not too bad at all. This is one ride that it surprised me. It was more than I thought it was going to be, and honestly, go to Fun Spot Atlanta and visit Six Flags and definitely make this side trip, because it's great to ride this thing for a few hours, and the lines weren't too long, and I can't really say anything bad about the experience. I had a very fun time in this park and a very awesome time on this ride. Thank you, as always, for watching this review. And until next time, at the next new coaster, see ya.